Hello and welcome to Amul India. This is Chef Savita Patil and Chef Savita Patil from Lexicon Institute of Hotel Management, Pune. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Velvety Mocha Mousse. But before that, let us see what is a mousse. A mousse is any food product which is very light and soft. The texture can vary from light and airy as well as to a very soft and dense texture. I would like to introduce myself. I am Chef Savita Patil, working in Lexicon Institute of Hotel Management. I have over 2 decades of experience in bakery industry. So the mousse that I'm going to show you today is made with Amul products, and it's the most loved flavor, that is chocolate. Everybody loves this flavor, and that's the reason why I'm going to show you this product. This product is basically very easy to make, as well as it is made with all the Amul products, which is the most popular brand, and all the raw material is easily available. So let us start making it. So for that, first I'm going to take Amul fresh cream, 200 ml of Amul fresh cream, and so when you're taking the cream, you have to make sure when you're measuring any liquid, you always rest your measuring jar on something, on a flat surface, and then you bend down and check the quantity. So here's our 200 grams of fresh cream, which I'm going to heat. So let me pour it in a heavy bottom pan, and I'm going to boil this cream. So, and when it starts boiling, I will be adding the Amul compound in it. When you are boiling the cream, you have to make sure you stir it continuously. Otherwise, the cream will start burning. So, let's see. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to pour all the chocolate in that. I'm going to give you the proportions again. 200 grams of fresh cream, 250 grams of dark compound, Amul dark compound, and 200 ml of Amul whipping cream. Two small sachets, or either you can take 2 small sachets of coffee, any coffee of your choice, instant coffee basically, or else you can take 2 teaspoons of coffee powder in it. So let us wait till this comes to a boil, because if the cream is not hot enough, then the chocolate will not melt completely. So we are going to keep on stirring the cream till it boils perfectly. If you do not want to use cream, you can take Amul milk. But if you're using Amul milk, then you have to use the whole milk, and then it will be only 150 ml instead of 200 ml, because the milk is a little more thinner consistency, so we will be using a little less amount of that. As you can see, the cream is hot now. So I'm going to remove it, and I'll stir in the chocolate. This is 250 grams of Amul dark compound. With the heat of the cream, the chocolate will melt completely. If it doesn't melt, you can put it on the gas range again on a very, very low flame and allow it to melt completely. But if the cream is hot enough, chocolate should melt with the heat of the cream itself. After it melts completely, we are going to allow it to cool down for some time, and in the meantime I'm going to start whipping the cream. Also, once the chocolate melts, either you can mix the coffee, you take the coffee and mix it with about a tablespoon of hot water, and then dissolve it completely. I've kept the hot water ready. We'll dissolve the coffee and I'm going to stir it in the ganache. This is the ganache that we have made, a thick ganache. So I'll leave it for some time to cool down. In the meantime, as I said, I'm going to start whipping the fresh cream. So when you want to use the Amul whipping cream, you always remember that the whipping cream has to be absolutely cold, and this is unsweetened cream, so we need to add some sugar in it. So for 250 grams of this is a 250 ml pack, and we require about 50 grams of sugar to give the perfect sweetness. But you can adjust the sweetness according to your taste by increasing or reducing the powdered sugar. So I am going to take 200 ml of cream in the same, I can use the same jar. Shake it well before you want to take it. I had put this cream in the refrigerator for almost 12 hours to chill it properly. This is the fresh cream, so when you are whipping it, you have to be absolutely careful. If you over whip it, it can start curdling. That means the water and the fats will start separating. So that is why you have to make sure that you are going to be taking the cream and whipping it to the perfect consistency. So I'm going to take the cold cream and this is about 35 grams of sugar that I have taken, the powdered sugar. You don't need to take the icing sugar. You can even use the powdered sugar, and then we start beating it, whipping it with the beater. If you don't have the beater, you can use a whisk like this, and that will do the job. Make sure initially you're whipping it at a low speed, and then you increase the speed. Whip it till it forms soft peaks. If the cream that we are using, if it is not cold, then you will not be able to whip it well, and it will curdle. Curdle means it will start separating. The water and the fat content will separate. So that is why it is very, very important that you use the cream which is absolutely cold. And you have to make sure that if it is a very, very hot day, you can also keep a bowl of ice under this when you are whipping it. Since this is fresh cream, the shelf life is a little lesser, and you have to be careful when you are whipping it very well. It's a dairy product, so you have to be careful. Whenever you want to make this mousse, you can make it a day prior also, because it at least requires 2 to 3 hours minimum for to set. You need to refrigerate it for at least 2 to 3 hours. So if you are going to have some guests, you can make it one day in advance also. As you can see, the cream is getting thickened. We need a little more whipping, and then it should be ready to be used. as you can see, it's still needs a little bit of whipping. It has become a little thicker, but we need more thickness. So I'm going to continue whipping it. The best part of this recipe is it is eggless, as well as the ingredients are very easily available from one of the best brands known, that is Amul. So as I told you, I have already mentioned the recipe, but I am going to repeat it one more time. We have taken 250 grams of dark compound, Amul dark compound, 200 ml of Amul fresh cream, 200 ml of Amul whipping cream, 35 grams of powdered sugar. You can change the quantity of powdered sugar. 2 small sachets of coffee with 1 tablespoon of hot water mixed in it. If you want to make only the chocolate mousse, you can omit the coffee from there and you can just make the chocolate mousse itself. So now, as you can see, the cream is nice and thick. It is whipped very well. So it is ready to be used. And our chocolate mixture also, it's slightly warm. So I'm going to wait for a few more minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to show you how to make some simple chocolate garnishes. So let us start with that. I'll keep away these things which I do not require. And I'm going to start showing you some of the chocolate garnishes. So I'll be using the dark compound and the white compound. As well as so first I'm going to show you a very simple garnish. This is a OHP sheet that I'm using. You can use a thick plastic sheet also. So you place your OHP sheet on a flat surface. We will melt the chocolate. The dark chocolate compound as well as the white compound. And as I said, this is going to be a very simple and easy garnish. Anybody could do it very easily. All I require is both the compounds, some piping bags and a palette knife. So let me go and melt the chocolate. You can melt the chocolate compound in the microwave. So you can place it for about 10 to 15 seconds first, and then you give it a nice stir. Because chocolate sometimes it looks that it has not melted, but inside it is already soft, so you always have to stir it very well after every 10 to 15 seconds. Of course, that depends on the quantity. If the quantity is more, you will keep it for longer time. Especially, you have to be very careful with the white chocolate and as well as the white compound. As I mentioned earlier, we are using the compound. So when we are using the compound as well as the white chocolate, be very careful and make sure you're stirring it well, otherwise it can burn very easily. So that's the reason why I said you have to be very, very careful. As you can see, it's already melting, so stir it very well. And we need to keep it for a few more seconds, but before that I want to give a good stir and melt maximum amount of the crystals. So we will keep it for some few more seconds. Okay, let us check again. As you can see, it's almost melted, but there are some granules which should melt with the heat itself. So that's why I'm constantly stirring it. I'm again keeping for 10 seconds. I can see this big stubborn crystal which is not melting easily. Okay, so let us fill this in the piping bag. I'm going to fill. So if you are used to filling up the bag, you can directly hold it. Otherwise, a beginner can always place it this way. It is much easier for you to fill the bag then. And I'm going to give a very fine cut to it, very thin cut to this. And I'm just going to, just make swirls on it. I think there's a crystal stuck inside after taking so much care also. There are some crystals which can be seen. So make sure all these are melted. If possible, make sure that you're not making it very thin, especially if you are going to keep it in the warm environment for some time. Then you have to make sure that we are not going to be placing, we are not going to be cutting it very thin. On this, again, I am going to pour some dark compound swirls again. So again, I'm going to start melting the dark compound. Same way, the dark compound also for 10 to 15 seconds. Again, a nice stir to it. And you have to make sure that this also melts completely. I have, as you saw, I have used a plastic piping bag which is disposable, but if you don't have the piping bags, you can always use the milk packets. If you're buying the Amul milk, the packets are quite strong. You can just wash them nicely, dry them completely. Make sure you dry them completely, and then you could use those packets also. You can just cut the corner of it, and then you can pipe out the same way in circles. Again, it has started melting. As I have mentioned earlier, we give a nice stir to it. We're going to put it back again. Using a microwave for melting the compound becomes easier, but if you don't want to use the microwave, you can also use a double boiler. That also helps, where you take a smaller bowl of hot water and put the chocolate in a bigger bowl and keep it on that bowl. So with the indirect heat or the heat of the steam, the chocolate melts. But this is a easier way, because in case when you're using a double boiler, if any moisture goes inside, touches the chocolate or goes inside the vessel, then the chocolate can discolor. It can have those white patches on it. So that is why this is an easier way. I find it more easier, and everybody can, those who are not professionals also can use it very easily. There is one chunk of chocolate which needs to melt, so we're going to be putting it again for a few seconds. You can even use milk chocolate if you don't want to use the dark one. You can also use milk one, whichever is fine with you. So as you can see, the chocolate has melted almost. I'm going to fill it in the bag. Take another bag, and I think I dropped the spatula. It was a little small spatula, so. And fill your bag. I'm just going to take half of the chocolate. And same way, I will cut it and make the swirls. This is one of the most easiest and simplest garnish I find, and it looks very beautiful. So I always try to make this. You can even, as I said, you can even use the milk chocolate. So you will have the 3 white, dark and the milk compound garnish. Now this goes in the refrigerator. It will set in about 10 to 15 minutes. Can you please put this in the refrigerator? Another easy garnish which I would like to show you is with the bubble wrap. Nowadays you get the textured sheets, but the easiest way is you can even use a bubble wrap. Everybody has this bubble wrap at home, and you can always use that. So you just pour your chocolate on the bubble wrap. And take your spatula and just spread it out. Don't try to make it very thin, because later on it may start, when you're placing it on the dessert, and if you have to keep the dessert out for some time, then it may start melting. So you can do same type of garnish with the dark compound as well, with the white compound as well as the milk compound. So again, this goes in the refrigerator for some time. Can you bring the ice? There is another simple garnish, a quick garnish, which I would like to show you. That is, you take the chocolate, any chocolate, dark or white, and melt it. Rules remain the same. You have to stir it after 10-15 seconds. Specifically for this particular garnish, I don't want to take too much of chocolate at a time. I will be taking very little chocolate, because I'm going to show you how to make a edible cup with the ice cubes. So that is why when you dip the ice cube in this, if you have too much of chocolate in it, it starts because when the moisture goes inside that chocolate, it will start hardening. So that is why I'm going to just take very little chocolate and show you 1 or 2 cups out of that. So this makes a very very easy and a bite-sized dessert that children can really enjoy. So, and easy to make, as I said. Make sure you're melting the chocolate thoroughly well. And before you set the ice cubes, you can just put some toothpicks in it and set it, so that it is easier for you to hold the ice cube when you're dipping it in the chocolate. Almost melted, just a little more. So about 10 seconds in the oven again, at microwave again, and we will be ready with the chocolate. Okay, so it has melted completely. So let's make the edible cups. So as I told you that you can take the silicone mold, and when you're pouring water in it, insert a toothpick like this, so it's easier for us to use it, and just dip it quickly, remove it, and keep it on a plastic sheet. I have used a OHP sheet here. So very quickly, if you keep it inside for a longer time, then the chocolate starts setting in, and the cup just drops in the chocolate itself. So make sure you are removing it very, very quickly. And it sets instantly because you have the ice. So with the ice, your cups set absolutely instantly. Till the time we are going to use them, I will put them in the refrigerator. So now I'm going to move whatever I do not require from here. And I'm done with the chocolate as well. So we will start with our mousse, because the ganache is cold. You can check by touching the base of the vessel. It's absolutely cold, and all I have to do is I have to pour it in the whipping cream, or you can do it vice versa also. Make sure you're taking every bit of the chocolate. Always use a spatula to remove this, so that you don't end up wasting the chocolate. And you have to very gently fold it. So it's a 4-ingredient easy velvety mocha mousse. And if you want to make a chocolate mousse, you can avoid adding the coffee, and that will be your chocolate mousse. If you want a marble effect, you can just leave it this way or mix it completely. I'm going to be showing you different ways of presentation. So first, what you can do is, if you want, you can directly pour it in the molds and set the molds or else you can set the mousse in the glass bowl and or in a stainless steel bowl, and then later on you can pipe it out. So I'm going to show you both the techniques. So I have some glasses here. In some of the glasses, I'm going to pour the mousse now, and the remaining mousse I will refrigerate and then pipe out in the glasses. Because at this point of time you cannot pipe out the swirls properly, so you need to set it. Right now we are just going to put it in some glasses and set it. So and some in this. Okay. You can, if you feel that it is not leveled properly, you can just take a duster and just tap it a little bit to level it up, or you can leave it as it is as well. So I'm going to refrigerate this. The remaining glasses, I will pipe out the mousse in these remaining glasses and show you a little later. And this mousse which is there in our container, I'm going to pour in a glass bowl and refrigerate. So once it sets, we can start piping it out. When you want to set it, you can just put a cling film on top of it and refrigerate it. Okay. Can you bring the other things? Okay. Let me first clear this area so that we can start working, start garnishing. I'm showing you some simple ways of garnishing which will really impress not only your family members but your guests as well. Okay, so I had made some mousse in advance and kept. Just to show you different techniques, what I have done is I have made two different mousses. This is only the coffee mousse which is made using white compound. The recipe remains same, 250 grams of white compound, then 200 ml of whipping cream and 200 ml of fresh cream. Plus, white compound does not require any sugar because it is very sweet, and coffee. So I have added about 3 sachets of coffee in this. And this is the mocha mousse that I have made. I have some things for presentation. Can you please bring the glasses? So we are going to do, as I said, we're going to do presentation in different ways. I have some assorted fruits here, as well as some macaroons. and a cupcake, Amul chocolate cookies, and a circle of brownie. So I will start with my presentation. So again, you take an open star nozzle and fill your mousse in it. Fill your mousse in the piping bag, which is set. So I'm going to fill both the mousse first, and then I'll show you how to pipe it out in different ways. Nice and creamy. Leave it aside. We will use another star nozzle for the coffee mousse. Nice creamy coffee mousse. So we will make sure the nozzle is out properly. Okay, so I have already set some glasses of mousse. Because it's, as I said, the setting time is about 2 to 3 hours. So first I'll start with this. I have purposely filled it half, and I'm going to fill it with the coffee mousse on top. Can you get the garnishes? And in another glass, just the swirl of this. If you don't know how to do the swirls, you can always just hold a piping bag in 90 degree and fill it this way. So whichever way suits you, you can do that. We will fill our cups also. These I had made in advance and kept. So these are very easy, and you can just pick it up and put it in your mouth. You can do it alternately, the swirl, different swirls. And you could just put a slice of strawberry on it, or this is a tiny macaron that I have, or a blueberry, and the garnish which we have made. This is a garnish. I'm going to keep these aside. I do not require them now. Our simple garnish, simple and easy garnish, looks pretty. And you can just insert it this way. Another one with the bubble wrap. You can just peel off the bubble wrap and you can just break it anyhow. So these garnishes are very easy and you can just quickly make them. Now here, what you can do is, you can just put all these things what we have here, a piece of brownie, a macaroon, a piece of orange, then maybe a blueberry, some pieces of strawberry here and there, and then our simple easy garnish on top. The Amul chocolate cookie that I am using here, you can just take that cookie, and since the cookie is darker color, we could just use the coffee because the cookie is already chocolate. So I'm just using the coffee on top, coffee filling inside. So you can serve your Amul chocolate cookie like this as well, or else take your cupcake. This is the chocolate cupcake, and you can just remove some center and fill your mousse inside, and then again make a swirl of that mousse on top. Put some bits of chocolate on it. You can take your brownie, again same way. We can just pipe out our mousse on it in a different way. Whatever way you want, you could do it this way, and then again in the center, and insert the garnish on top. Also, you can take a plate. These are the crumbs of the Amul chocolate cookie. You just place some crumbs on your plate on one side, or you could put it in the center as well. And you can pipe out your mousse in between, both the mousse. You can even take the chocolate mousse in between and put all the things that we have, a piece of strawberry, maybe one more, a macaroon in between. You can place a blueberry, whatever you have. It's not that you have to use these things. You could put any other things that you want to use, but they should complement with the flavor. So these are the various ways you can present your mousse. These are different ways. You can use your own creativity and create even better desserts. So I hope you liked the session from Amul India Live. This is Chef Savita signing off from Lexicon IHM, Pune. Thank you.